Previously, Haiku gets into a fun adventure with his friends as they save the country once again from danger. Will Haiku finally receive a mission that connects him to his past, or will he embrace his new life and forget about his past? Let's find out. Anju visits the girls and informs them that she is in love with Oshtor. The girls are surprised by this revelation and think that they should send her to bed, although Atui believes that this is a wonderful opportunity as she came to the city to look for love and she has never before been in love. They agree to send her back to the palace, but she refuses and Nikon decides to call Munachika. Anju tells her that Munachika is not in the palace as she has gone out for a night battle exercise. Elsewhere, Haiku and Kiru are seen cleaning the gutters. If only they could clean his mind that way. Kiru asks him if he has heard about the noble thieves, telling him about the story of the noble thieves, Nosuri and Uigo, kind of like a Robin Hood story. Kyuri adds that he won't allow them to spread chaos in the city anymore. Haiku is surprised and Kiru suggests that they go around to catch the thieves, but Haiku rejects the suggestion, saying that every work should be taken seriously. Look who's finally growing up. Meanwhile, the girls decide to read Anju a bedtime story, but Atui reads a love story, even though Kion thinks that will make it harder for her to sleep. Yeah, no kidding. While working, Haiku accidentally digs into a hole, causing him to fall down the sewers. Fortunately, he is saved by Nosuri by holding onto her body. Nosuri is surprised, and the two fall into the sewer, so no one is basically saving no one. Anju asks them how she could make Oshtor fall in love with her, as she is like a bird in the cage, and Oshtor was the one that showed her how beautiful the outside world is. After listening to this, the girls then decide to help her. Rulutea tells her that she has to have a womanly charm, demonstrating some of the attributes she needs to have. Nikon wakes up from her sleep, and Anju asks her to join her in practicing some of the moves. Atui then gives her suggestions, stating that they could write a love letter to express their feelings about love, even though she hasn't written one before. Atui begins to draw some provocative images, but Kion stops her as it gets too far and collects the sketches she made. I would have liked to have seen the end result though. Anju stops her, as she will learn very little about the subtleties of the heart from Haiku. Elsewhere, Haiku and Nosuri find their way out of the sewer and decide to take their bath before returning home. They reminisce about the incident, even though they do not realize that they are right next to each other. After bathing, they are both surprised to see each other, and Nosuri slaps Haiku, causing him to return home sad, thinking Nosuri is a Nojisomyukam. Totally worth it, bro. On getting home, an angry Kyon confronts and attacks Haiku for saying that she is a monstrous woman who eats too much and has no friends. Talk about emotional damage. Later on, Haiku finds out about all that Anju has learned and tells them that none of it can work on Oshtor. Anju asks him what she can do, and Haiku teases her that they should pretend that she has been kidnapped, and Anju loves the idea. While she asks who will grant her wish, they hear Nosuri's voice, saying that she will grant her wish. She crashes into the room and leaves with Anju before Haiku could stop her. What a dramatic entrance. Not really. Soon, Aoji enters and gives Haiku a map of where they are taking Anju, causing Kion to ask if he knows them. It turns out that Nosuri took Anju seriously, and the girls blame Haiku as they think Nosuri is his friend. A tired Haiku is seen walking, saying that his dinner time and treats are fading away into the distance, back to the old life then. He then spots a building and realizes it's where he's going. In the building, Nosuri tells Anju that the blade of love is the only thing that can release a maiden from bonds of steel. However, Haiku interrupts them, and Anju informs him that the kidnapping was a great idea. She adds that they have written the threat letter, and Nosuri reads it to him. While Haiku looks confused, Oji collects the letter and leaves to deliver it to Oshtor. Well, that escalated quickly. At the Hakirakaku, the girls wish that Anju's romance will work out, but Nikon is not in support of her brother marrying Anju and believes that Oshtor will scold Anju if she makes it look like the kidnapping is real and not a prank. She lies to the girls that she needs to attend to a serious problem and leaves. Meanwhile, Haiku scolds Anju and Nosuri, telling her that it's too dangerous, as the entire clan of the nobles could end if anything happens to her. Nozuri ties him down as he's interfering in Anju's romance and states that she will do whatever it takes to make a maiden's love come true. Nikon rushes to meet Ashtor to inform him that the princess has been kidnapped. Ashtor shows her the threat letter, and Nikon asks why he hasn't gone to rescue her, but Ashtor states that he recognizes the handwriting and the flamboyant writing style, and deduces that the princess puts the night thieves up to it, even though he does not know the reason. Nikon tries to convince him into rescuing her immediately and asks that he gather all the capital's army, but Ashtor does not agree, saying that the situation will be worse if he intervenes. Meanwhile, Ogi watches on from outside and delivers another threat letter after he notices that Ashtor isn't taking any action. Ogi continues to deliver more threat letters, but Ashtor insists on not taking any action. After so many threat letters, Ashtor agrees to act as he knows that there's no limit to what Ogi can do if he keeps refusing. Ashtor then asks for his armor and leaves. Remember, persistence is key. However, Anju thinks Ashtor does not care about her as he is taking too long, but Ogi arrives and tells them that Ashtor is on his way. Even though it took a lot of effort, it really did. Anju is happy, but Nozuri does not know that Anju is actually the princess of Yamato. She later figures it out when Anju says that Ashtor is her favorite servant and the general of the right, which makes Nozuri frightened. Nozuri immediately begs for mercy for her rude behavior, but Anju tells her not to worry as they are now friends, and asks her to fight with Ashtor like a real bandit. Well, this will end well. Ashtor and his armies set out to go rescue Anju, and the girls at the Hakurakaku wonder where he is going late at night, and are even more surprised to see Nikon following him. The girls immediately follow him to satisfy their curiosity. Well, they do look like a cat. Shortly after, Ashtor arrives, and Nozuri is confused about what to do, but Ugi tells her that he has secured an escape route, and asks that they leave to give the two alone time together. Nozuri informs Anju that she's leaving, and Anju begs her to stay as she is the only one she has, but Ugi wants them to leave. Nozuri then frees Haiku and tells him that he's going to be the bandit and disguises him. Ashtor and the rest recognize Haiku and wonder what he is doing. Nozuri asks Ashtor to fight her in a battle to rescue Anju if he truly cares about her, and Anju plays along. However, she asks Haiku to fight with Ashtor first, calling Haiku his comrade, but Haiku runs back after he sees the reinforcement of 5,000 soldiers. He might need a change of pants. Haiku suggests that they run away since they have the princess, instead of dying in the hands of 5,000 soldiers, and Anju shouts in fear, but no one answers her. Ashtor soon joins them, and Nozuri immediately falls to her knees to apologize, but Anju hides behind Haiku, pretending to be kidnapped. It might be too late for that. Ashtor then draws out his sword to fight Haiku, which surprises him. He immediately removes his disguise, but Ashtor insists on fighting, leaving Haiku no choice but to fight back. The two begin a sword fight, and Ashtor later tells Haiku that he has gotten better, although Haiku loses his focus and Ashtor knocks him off. Anju initially asks Haiku to continue the fight, but later thanks Ashtor for coming to save her as he approaches her. Ashtor immediately falls to his knees and asks Anju to forgive him, saying that her kidnap is his fault. He adds that he will resign and commit seppuku, but Anju begs him not to, finally realizing the severity of what she has done. This is why communication is important. Ashtor agrees not to resign, and everyone is happy. However, Munachika suddenly appears as Ugi informs her about the situation, which surprises Anju. She spanks Anju for pulling such pranks and leaves with her. Ashtor apprehends Ugi and Nozuri for agreeing to kidnap the princess, and asks Haiku to keep an eye on them. At the Recap-kun, Anju lowers her head and apologizes to everyone, including Nozuri and Ugi, and Munachika also apologizes for her behavior. She then offers them some precious confectionery to appease the girls and asks Haiku to keep watching over the princess regardless of what has happened. Soon, Munachika moves to Rulutea's side and asks her to continue reading the book. Later, Haiku walks with Ashtor through the hall of the imperial court and asks why he has dressed like that. Ashtor tells him that he has to, as he is there to meet with the emperor. Haiku is confused about why the emperor, Mikado, wants to see him, but it turns out that Munachika reported the kidnapping to him and made Haiku appear as the princess's rescuer, which has earned him a reward. Haiku does not recognize the shadow of the emperor at first, but figures out that it's Mito when he asks the attendant, Honoka, to step forward. Haiku points and shouts in amazement despite Ashtor's warning, and Mikado asks if he has seen him before. Haiku answers, but Mikado plays it off with a laugh. At the emperor's command, two beautiful ladies appear and begin to dance, showing off their golden jewels. Mikado tells him that the ladies are his reward, and they introduce themselves as Ururu and Sarana, the Kuminaji of chains. They swear their eternal loyalty to him, bodies, souls, and everything. Mikado tells him that he is free to ask them for anything, leaving Haiku confused, and Honoka asks him to take good care of her daughters. I guess he is married now. Yay! The Guardian are surprised, and Dikopompo wonders how someone of such low birth could be given the Kuminaji of chains. However, Baruya shuts him up, and Munachika states that the emperor has reasons which are beyond their comprehension. Back at the Hakurokaku, the gang welcomes Haiku, but they are shocked that he met with the emperor. Nikon notices the twins and asks who they are, as the girls cling to Haiku, stating they belong to their master. They reveal that they will be helping him with everything, leaving the gang more surprised. Haiku immediately clears their suspicion and tells them that the emperor rewarded him with them and he could not refuse. Sure, that's the only reason why he could not refuse. Kion understands him and offers to help if they don't want to be there, but the girls continue to cling more to Haiku and touch him. The girls become very confused, causing Rulutea to faint. Haiku says that he is thirsty, and the girls bring him a cup of tea each. He drinks it and says that it tastes good, causing him to ask if they can do house chores. I see where he is going with this. They tell him they can cook and they will be in charge of all his needs, even at night. But Rulutea finally gets the courage and tells them that it's her job, referring to making his meals, of course. Yeah, not the other one. She confronts Haiku to ask him if he doesn't like her meals, but he goes awry as she pours hot tea on him. The twins help him clean his clothes, but touch him provocatively, which shocks the girls. The twins soon take off his pants and use their magic to dry it off. The gang is impressed and asks them if they can fulfill some of their wishes with magic, a female genie. Not long after, an old man, Sakon, the candy seller, interrupts them and asks if Ukon is there because he is supposed to have a drink with him. Haiku tells him that he took off to attend to something important, and the man asks the gang to join him instead. While they eat, Kiru and Haiku wonder how the candy seller can afford the feast. I don't think they want to know though. Haiku asks him how he knows Ukon. The man explains that they have been friends for a long time, and Ukon tells him that he has made interesting friends, which he wants to introduce him to. While they talk, Haiku accidentally reveals that Ukon's true identity is Ashtor, but the man says that he knew about it for a long time. The man removes his bald head and reveals himself as Mikazuchi. He continues to remove and return the head, and Nikon overreacts to the reformation. Ukon soon arrives, and the two talk, showing that they really are friends. Ukon invites Haiku to join them that night for a drinking contest, and Rulutea looks on, surprised. Later at night, the Kabanaji of Chains put the girls to bed and join the boys while they drink. Haiku then asks Ukon who the girls are, and he explains that they are the priestesses and the heirs to Honoka. Sekon is surprised at how the girls are given to Haiku, and Ukon tells him that the Emperor has recognized his skills, even though Haiku does not understand why. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If this video is the most popular of our latest collection of recaps, we will make a part 5. Let us know what series you want us to recap next in the comments below.